That's why we have producers. Don't worry about it. I'll take care of everything.
Steve has been so good to me. So good to me. I owe him to the moon and back. Uh, so Zoom is yep, there we go. It's happening on YouTube. Very good. Okay. Hello. Okay, yeah. Now here we are. Actually recording and ready to talk to you, Samantha Custer, costume designer from MSTie season 11 and 12. Again, folks in the chat, if you have a question for Samantha, comment it in the chat, comment it directly to me. If not, then I'm just going to sit here and ask Samantha questions all night because I've got a list.
I love it. I love it. Let's play.
Okay, so unless anybody else has, I'm going to start. Who taught you how to sew?
You know, I would say, you know what's really funny about that is that, like, I am not, being a seamstress is not my greatest talent. Like, I'm a really good designer. I can sketch, draw all day long, but when it comes to execution, it's not my greatest strength. I generally tend to farm that out, but I would say, I think my mom probably taught me to sew first. I also took a couple classes when I was younger, and then I went to grad school at UCLA, and we had to take a construction class there.
Okay.
It was my only B in grad school. Just not my thing.
So what's your thing? What's your favorite?
I'm more of an artist. I like to draw and research and that's like my favorite part of design.
Okay, but, see, I thought, like, again, I have no idea about this kind of stuff, so that's why we're here talking to you. I thought, like, you did it from, you know, again, like sketch, like you said, through all the way to actual people wearing these outfits.
Oh, well, I mean, it's with Mystery Science Theater 3000, for example, like, there were some things that I did actually sketch and put together myself, and I call that more like crafting design, because it doesn't have to be pretty. It just kind of gets the point across. But when you look at somebody's look like Kinga and Max, those were 100%. I designed those. I got the fabric and I sent them to a tailor, Mr. O, he's wonderful, and he put those together because my skill level is just not that high when it comes to actual beautiful execution.
But I loved your description of crafting design, because where's my hot glue gun? She's over there. You know, if you don't know how to run a hot glue gun, then you probably shouldn't be putting anything together. So, but that's very interesting. That you're kind of Anywho, what was the name of the tailor you said?
His name's Mr. O. He works out of North Hollywood, California, and I've worked with him on a couple different things, like. On the last series that I did, which is called The Baxters, I designed a wedding dress and he built that for me too.
Oh my goodness. Oh, who doesn't want to get married? Right? And maybe I'll call you Samantha. I'm engaged now. So that's a different story. Let's see. So Jay Skillman, are you around, sir? I know you had a question. You're welcome to unmute yourself, I think.
Hello. Hi.
Yeah, there he is. Please go ahead, Jay.
Okay, what was your favorite costume design from the show?
Kinga, I loved her double-breasted coat that we put together for her look. I just thought it worked really well. But as far as kind of like the snippets that we did, I really loved Ator. I did do that one. I did put that one together myself. And I thought it was just hilarious. I mean, who doesn't want to dress Jonah Ray as a barbarian? You know what I mean? Yeah. And I even made a pillow for him out of the scraps from that fabric.
He showed us that on Turkey Day.
He showed us that, yeah.
That was probably my favorite one that we did. But I also really liked, I mean, poor Jonah, like, bless his heart. You know, he's not a little guy. He's a tall guy. And for whatever reason, everything that we rented for him or tried to put together ended up being a little snug, which I thought was really funny. But I told him, I was like, look, you know, if we keep doing these seasons, I'm going to make your stuff a little bit bigger. So since you've been up on the space station, you probably don't eat very well. But right now, like, you know, everything's fitting a little snug and hilarious. I don't know. It was funny.
And then that changed a lot for season 12, right? Because he lost a lot of weight in between those seasons.
He did, but here the thing that was which was kind of a bummer about season 12 is that we didn't have, because it was like, the season was cut in half. So we didn't do the 12 episodes that we did from the first season in 11. So it was only 6. And so like my job, wasn't, I won't say it wasn't as much fun because it was still fun, but we didn't have as many costumes to do that season for like, like the little snippets that they would do in between the riffing, which was kind of a bummer.
So did you modify Jonah's costume between seasons for his weight loss? And did you have to modify anything about Kinga's because she was no longer pregnant with Calliope at that point?
Yeah, we did. So for Felicia's jacket, I had to take it back to Mr. O, and we ended up having to take it in so that it would fit her properly, because we designed it like a little bit bigger so that like she obviously had room to grow. But I think it was very successful. I don't think very many people realized that she was pregnant during that.
Fantastic job. I don't think anybody realized it until she was willing to open up and tell us all about it afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we just had to take it in, and we were able to reuse a lot of things. I think for Jonah, I may have had to do a couple more jumpsuits, just freshen them up. But yeah, everything we basically were able to use again. It was more the specialty costumes that we put the money into.
That is very cool. So these costumes that you created for both season 11 and 12, they're pretty much one of a kind. Like there is only one Felicia Day coat out there. Jonah, one yellow jumpsuit.
He has a few.
He has a few. Okay. So what happens to that stuff after production is over?
Well, some of it got sold off, auctioned off, but I told them that they weren't allowed to touch the Kinga and Max stuff until we were absolutely done with the series. So we would put it in a storage unit. Like the production company had a storage unit that we like kept all the props, the set pieces, everything went in there. So I don't if it's still around because it's been a couple of years. I don't know if they liquidated it. I mean, maybe Joel has them now. I honestly don't know what happened to it.
I can't.
They're all at Lucasfilm now.
Yes, everything. He's taken over at George Lucas.
Everything
has everything. I have to brag because I recently acquired the turkey theremin from season 11, Christmas, aka Ashley. She was gifted that, and then she and I talked, and she's like, I kind of need to get it out of my house. So we made a little arrangement, and it's sitting in a box in my living room right now. I have no idea how to put it together. I have no idea how to play it, but I am super excited to own a piece of the props from season 11.
That's awesome.
So that's very cool. Let's see. I know Phantom of Crankor. I know you're around, sir. If you would like to unmute, you wanted to talk about something tiny leather shorts.
Yeah. Oh well, it was just I was sort of responding to Jay's question because it just came through in the chat as to kind of, it was like, what's your favorite costume design? And all I could think of, besides the white outfits for the end of the episode, was just the super tiny shorts that you managed to stuff everybody into.
For the boneheads?
All the boneheads, yeah.
Those were very stretchy. They were very, very stretchy. I'm sorry, there's a hair that is really
adorable. Just leave it. Don't worry.
Just don't fuss. Don't fuss. Don't fuss.
Your costumes, not makeup. Don't worry about it.
I need to be like focused here down. And I think very much on holiday. I'm on holiday point right now.
Yes.
Those shorts, those little booty shorts were very, very stretchy. So they weren't uncomfortable. Like I think the boneheads kind of liked wearing everything. We had to have something down there to kind of keep it PG.
Were those bonehead costumes, were those your design, or it seems very on point, those costumes? It seems like it came fully formed from Joel's mind.
I'm pretty sure there was a movie, right?
Yeah, they I don't know how they actually came to be, like, as far as like conceptualized, but those were something that, like, you know, Seth and Joel had given me a couple like ideas for certain costumes, like, oh well, we kind of think like we want it to sort of be in this vein, and I'm like, okay. And so I believe that Boneheads was just something that I made happen, and like I took their idea and I just kind of like, there you go.
Yeah,
But
because sorry, not to interrupt you. I'm sorry. No, there's a movie, Inframan. I'm probably, yeah. And the evil henchmen in that movie are very similar to the Bonehead design. So
okay.
that's where we figure maybe Joel got some inspiration from. I guess we would have to get him on the phone to confirm that. But no, that's very interesting. So you pretty much came up with that based on just ideas they gave you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I made it. I just made it happen. You know, that's part of the magic, is like when you're collaborating with producers or conceptual artists, like they'll give you ideas and then you'll kind of put your spin on it too. And like they did it with Kinga too. They gave me kind of some ideas for Kinga and Max, and then I took their ideas and just sort of like embellished them a little bit more and put my stamp on it. So with the Boneheads though, like those costumes, I mean, I'm just going to say they were the biggest pain in the ass on the whole show. Like my poor assistants, bless their hearts, man. They were like, we took basically like life vests, like these foamy life vests. Cause this was Joel's idea. It's like, just get some life vests and, you know, paint them and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, okay. So we did that, cut out the foam, you know, to make the rib cages or whatever, and then had to spray paint everything. But the paint didn't stick very well. It just didn't adhere to that kind of foam. So it was a real learning process. And it was like a multi-step process to get the paint to stay on there. And I felt so bad because like the fumes and everything, it was an ordeal. Like I may or have like stuck my assistants on that and be like, hey guys, go have fun. Like, just, you know.
I wish like you would have called me. Like, had we known, I could have helped you along those lines of crafty, making things stick to other things. I'm very much along the same kind of crafty lines as, yeah, let's take a life vest and turn it into something. In fact, I have a motorcycle helmet that I have kept for several years so that I can eventually turn it into a Bonehead helmet.
Yeah.
When I get around to
it. Yeah, the Boneheads were very, like, it was a very big collaboration between us and props as well. Like they did the helmets with the little bone, and then we did the costumes. So we were like neck down and then they were head up.
Now, would that be Bees McKeever or
Bees didn't do so on my Sue seasons, because I know Bees was the original like OG costume designer on
prop diva.
Yeah.
Whatever.
She's really great, but her job on my shows, she did the bot costumes. So we also kind of collaborated a little bit as well. Like I'd be like, well, this is what I'm thinking, what we're going to do with Jonah. And like, you know, you do what you're going to do with the bots. But no, she was very specialized and she can actually really sew.
She's just amazing all around. Luckily, we'll get to talk to her Sunday evening. Hey, Samantha, if you're around, pop in and maybe you could ask her some questions as well, or you know, maybe share about some, you know, some fun times that were on the set.
Yeah, she's great.
Oh, she's just the sweetest. And her mom, Miss Edna. Anyways, are you artistic in other areas and creative in other areas, or is more just costume design?
I mean, I'm an artist, so I do, like, I can paint, draw. I mean, most of the time I'm doing like renderings of costumes and things like that, but I can certainly do that stuff. I think I'm not great at, like, I don't know, say interior design. That's not my thing, but I have a really good eye for just different things, like artistic wise, I'd say. But painting and drawings is the main thing, really.
Okay, no, that's very cool. And that's what's that's what's really fun about talking with creative people like yourself with Bees. Jackie from Manos Hands of Fate, we talked to her earlier. She's an artist as well. And it's just fun to kind of like pick y'all's brains a little bit about what you do creatively. Do you sketch even when you don't have something like a project you're working on? Do you come up with things that you just sketch it out and set aside for a rainy day?
I do more like, I kind of do more doodles, like really. Like and I actually like to do animals. Like I'll just sketch animals, or if I'm on set or wherever, I might just like see a person. I just might do a quick sketch just to kind of keep my hand warm.
Sure.
But as far as like, so like, I actually have like straight up canvases at home that I've like been planning on doing something with, but I just haven't yet. It's just like, it kind of like the mood has to strike. I'd say like the one thing that I had done recently, like during COVID, so I'd written a children's book a while back, and I finally had the time to illustrate that. So I was on that over the break, which was nice. I just have to get it all put together and out in the world. But
well, yeah. When you do, please, let me know, and I will spread the word far and wide. I love that. Yeah, please continue. Sorry.
Yeah, so I guess that's like one of the things like recently. But a lot of times I'll just like doodle, or if I'm just kind of like whatever.
That's cool. See, I am the opposite of I can't draw shit, but I can stone something from head to toe. Now, were you a fan of MST3K before you started working with the show?
Honestly, I wasn't a big fan. I mean, not that I didn't not like it. I just never really watched it when I was growing up. It just wasn't in my wheelhouse. But, I watched when I got it, I did watch a few episodes of it just to I kind of know what this is about, but let me see. And so I kind of got into it. I got into it a little bit. I think it's a really fun show. My best friend's husband is a huge fan, and he completely dorked out on me about it. And he's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you're working on this. This is so cool." Blah, blah, blah. So his excitement also made me really excited too. Because I'm like, all right, I know this is a thing. I know people, the fans of this show are the best fans in the world. They're so loyal and they love it. And so for me getting this show, I didn't want to let anybody down as far as with the look, because people love it so much. But I'll tell you, when I first got it, so, I got the list of movies that we were going to do. And so I was going to do the research. So I literally watched all these movies. It was freaking brutal, man. To get through
you had to watch these films in order to make these costumes without the benefit of the riffs.
Oh,
that's terrible. Did you get a pay for that?
Talk about being a trooper, huh?
The second season, I didn't do that because I learned. I was like, I can't. Just tell me what I need to do. I can't sit through. I think it took me 3 tries to get through Wizards of the Lost Kingdom. I had to take 15-minute breaks because I was like, oh, this is so brutal. This is
hurting. Yeah.
But when you watch it with them riffing, it's like, okay, well, this is so much better because, this is exactly like my inner monologue when I'm watching this garbage by itself. And it just makes it way more fun, Were
there any movies that you actually liked while you were watching them?
Yes, I liked Star Crash and I liked Avalanche a lot. And I did. And I actually kind of liked, what was the first one? It was the one with the big dinosaur, that was in Korea. What was that one called? I can't remember.
Reptilicus. The Swedish one?
Yeah, she's talking about Youngery. Reptilicus was from Dane Holland, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Youngery was so messed up at the end when the dinosaurs bleeding out. It was so messed up. Anyway, but I really enjoyed it too.
Yeah, no, the end of Youngery was it was something else. And yes, Denmark, excuse me, I'm not familiar with anywhere except for where
you're an American.
I'm American, and I'm not a geographer. We've covered this.
We've already covered this.
We covered this already.
You're not a geographer.
I'm not a geographer. So you weren't really up to speed on MSTie, but now you obviously know, like you said, the loyalty of the fans. And I can't pull my sleeve up, but I have a nice tattoo here as well. And of course, everything in my life revolves around the show.
I don't have anything.
He has nothing at all behind him there. And you said you started watching some episodes, classic episodes, Joel and Mike episodes.
I caught some snippets of it. I don't know if I watched the entire episodes, but I kind of looked at a couple clips from them and was like, okay, you know.
And so you got the concept of the show.
Got the concept. I dove right in on my own seasons
and you got thrown to the wolves, obviously. Yeah, right.
But it's more about the people, isn't it? It's about meeting Joel and Bees and all of the community that make up this wonderful thing, isn't it?
Yeah, no, their story is really awesome. Like, I really loved how they basically came from like Circuit TV, Pennsylvania, basement shooting, and then like it just
Minneapolis,
Minnesota. But that's okay.
She's not a geographer.
Where was it? It wasn't in
Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Minnesota.
That's right, because I think they're in Pennsylvania now, right?
Yes.
So anyway, yeah, I'm not a geographer. But no, like that was like, the story was really cool, and like just the fact that they made it such a big thing and people just love it. Like, I mean, I was really excited to be a part of it, and my friends who grew up watching it were super psyched about it too. So that was fun to share with them after the fact, and once I could like kind of, you know, pass the NDA, like let them know what I'm doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You can't talk about things until you're allowed to talk about things. So,
Exactly.
but no, that's cool that you had friends who were familiar with the show. And like you said, your best friend's husband totally, I would have done the same thing. I would be like, so
like that now.
I do that now. Yeah. What am I saying? I had a question. Dang, it's gone. So you have done costume design for obviously MSTie, but you've done costume design for all kinds of genres, film, movies, that's film, and TV. What is the hardest genre of costume design that you've ever had to do?
You know, this is gonna sound terrible, but they're not. I don't think they're hard. Like, it's maybe because I like love what I do so much. I would say that like it's not the actual genre, it's more of like the circumstances around filmmaking sometimes, such as a budget being really low for a very ambitious type project. Like, hey, we're gonna go do this period 1900s piece, here's like $2,000 for a cast of 15, make it happen. Like stuff like that. That's not actually like what happened to me, but like things like that have. So that I would say is the more challenging part. The actual design process for me isn't challenging. It's like I'll read a script and I'll see it in my head. And then what I'll do is I'll put together mood boards and then share it with the director, producer, whoever I need to communicate with. And then we get on the same page and then I just make it happen. But my favorite types of genres to design are period. I love doing period.
That was actually going to be my next question, is what's your favorite? So my reality brain goes to
so is there a difficulty in that process of you have a design, you have an idea, and the producers have their idea, and finding that middle between them?
It's very rare that that's actually happened to me. Like generally, like I come to them and we just talk about it and we're kind of already on the same page. It's very rare that like it's a different idea. They may have like a different thing. We'll just talk about it and then, meet in the middle on some things. But I'm also not the kind of designer where I'm like, it's my way or the highway. Like I'm the designer and blah, 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 blah. Like that's not me at all. I'm very collaborative. So if there is a difference, we'll talk about it. And like at the end of the day, it's my job to create the director's vision. And so it's nice when they align, but if they don't, like I'll kind of do what they want generally. But most of the time we're pretty on point together.
That's really cool. Because again, any production involves many, many people. So if you can't work well with others, you probably won't be on the production much longer. Yeah. But so that's really interesting. So I guess I have another question, but I just came up with another one. During the production process, like I said, I'm all about this behind the scenes stuff. Like say here comes the concept of a TV show or a movie. When do you get brought in along that process? Like obviously they don't start shooting without you. you get
It'd be embarrassing.
that would be, they'd
Without
be naked.
costumes. It would be a different show.
It'd be on Cinemax. Is that still around? But when do you get brought into the process of beginning a project?
I get brought in fairly early in the process. Like, I know that they normally will hire their director and then like an assistant director for scheduling and whatnot, generally a production designer, and then I get hired on, like kind of like around then. So depending on how long the prep is, like I'm one of the first people hired for the creative team.
Okay. That again, like I said, I'm all about the behind the scenes kind of learning stuff. That was one of my dreams come true, coming to see, again, my favorite TV show, but I get to visit a film set. I was just awestruck the entire time because, again, like you said, it takes a village. There's people running here, there, everywhere, clipboards. Everybody had all kinds of fun things. How did you get involved with MST3K? Like you said, you knew of the show, didn't really know it, but when did you get called in by, I guess, Joel and company?
Well, so the production company that partnered with Joel and Alternative, I can never say their production company.
Alterniversal, but it's okay.
Alterniversal. I was like, I can never pronounce what their freaking name is. Hold on. My dad's walking in right now.
Merry Christmas, Dad.
Merry Christmas to you and have a happy, safe New Year.
You too.
It's when you're at your parents' house for the holiday.
Welcome to 2020.
Yeah, no, hey, why not? This is a family affair. So please go ahead. How did you get involved with the
So the other production company that partnered with them is Abominable Pictures, and I had done a few things with that production company already, and so their line producer, who was the line producer on Mystery Science Theater 3000, had contacted me and was like, "Hey, we have this show coming up. Would you be interested in interviewing for it?" And I'm like, I can't remember if I actually interviewed for it or if they just gave it to me, which they may have just given it to me. I honestly can't remember. It's just been a minute, but that's how I got it, was through them.
Is the interview process about you, or is it about your work? Do you bring your portfolio, or is it a conversation about how you work?
It's more like, they'll kind of do a little pre-research on me. Like they'll look at my IMDb or my website or whatever and kind of see a sample of my work. But when I go in for an interview for like a job like this or a movie or whatever, I generally will have the script first, and I'll come in with like mood boards of my ideas for the characters and kind of like talk through like, well, if you give me this is how I would do it. And that's generally how I do interviews.
Again, I'm over the moon just getting to talk to you and with Steve as well, picking your brain, because I would love to be a fly on the wall kind of thing. So how did you get into designing and sketching and stuff? What we all have an origin story, so to speak. How'd you get into costume designing?
Since I've been a kid, like I've always like loved Hollywood. I've loved the movies. I've always thought Hollywood is magical. The city of Hollywood's actually a dump, but the sign's magical. And when I was I ended up going to college and I got a degree in political science with minors in Spanish and history. But while I was there, to kind of break up the monotony of like all the paper writing that I was doing, because it was pretty intense, I took an acting class. And while I was in the acting class, I was like, hey, do you guys have like a costume design class? And they're like, well, it's normally just for theater majors, but, talk to the professor and maybe he'll let you in. So I go up and I start talking to Ty Marshall, and he's like, well, maybe you can draw some things and maybe we'll see. So I did. And then he's like, okay, well, you can be in this, I guess. So I got into the class, and it was kind of like a big fish in a small pond situation, because my school I went to, Linfield College, a small private up in Oregon, like 1,500 students on a good day when I was there. And I got into this class and I excelled in there. And they were telling me, they're like, hey, you should go get an MFA. And I was just kind of like, well, I don't know what that is. What is that? And they're like, Masters of Fine Arts, you can get it in costume design. I was like, well, shit, that sounds like way more fun than law school. So I decided to just straight up suicide bid UCLA. It was the only school I applied to for grad school. Got in, and the rest is history. So I graduated there in 2005, and I've been working ever since. It's awesome.
That's, in fact, like when of course, I did a little bit of background so I could have some questions for you. What the hell is an MFA?
Masters of Fine Arts.
Okay, see, I didn't know. I'm not a scholar either, along with not being a geographer or geography.
Yeah, I didn't know either. Like back in the day, I had no idea what it was, and then like, this is great. This sounds like a lot of fun.
No, so that's really cool. So you just you took a chance, and it brought your dreams come true, so to speak. That's wicked. I love that. I think that's what everybody should do, and if you can do it. Just up and move to a new state and try life, because it works well. Steve, did you have something? I'm sorry, I missed it.
I'm a middle school teacher, and I produce our winter musicals, and we of course do costuming and lighting and all of the different aspects of production, and I try to instill in my 12 to 14-year-olds that love of putting this art together. What would you suggest for my students? Do you think that they should go to school for costume design if they love it, or if they love drawing? What's your suggestions for young people?
I mean, I think that if they have a passion for something, it's worth exploring. So if they like to draw, take classes. If they want to do this seriously as a career, go get an education for it. I mean, for me, it's actually helped, because when I was in school, I was able to network, and I'm still friends with some of these people who are producers today that have gotten me work over the years. And what school does is it teaches you, I mean, my program was more like a theater-based program. It kind of started segueing into film because we were interested in it. Now it's more of a film program at UCLA, but we were taught how to draw, refine our skills so we could communicate in that medium. But also we were taught how to break down scripts and more of the entertainment business side of things. You get a lot of education on set, but I think it's great to have a foundation that's basically in education. I'll go into school all day long. I think it's important.
So what about your law and your Spanish? Is that helping you?
Yes, it does. The political science degree taught me diplomacy, which is very good when you're dealing with actors and producers, and having to kind of maintain a level head and basically negotiate what you want sometimes in a smart way, so you don't come across as being a jerk or whatever. It's you just have to it's a communication skill. But as far as Spanish, yes. If anybody's ever been downtown to the fashion district or fabric district in LA, most of the vendors speak Spanish. So having that in my back pocket is very helpful.
Can you say something okay, if you were to go into a fabric store and want something, what would you say? I want a particular, where can I find some vinyl? Do you know how to say that in Spanish?
Donde está el vinyl?
Well, shit.
Problem solved.
I was hoping it wasn't gonna be that easy, but donde está, I guess so is. But
it's cuánto cuesta? How much does it cost? ¿Tienes otros colores? Do you have more colors? Just kind of have to talk with them, or if they have other prices, you kind of haggle a little bit down there. But
speaking the language,
it's a very useful skill to have for sure.
Regardless of what language we're talking about, if you are able to communicate with people, you can get whatever it is that you're looking for. Mm-hmm. Language is very important to this whole process.
100%.
Well, to being a human, period.
I would say to being an American, but that would be a lie.
That is true. But either way, hey, David, you had a question about if Samantha had done, are you around, David, still? I'm sorry, I may have missed it.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, hello there.
Oh, yes, please, let me.
Yeah, I thought I was going to be ignored here.
I'm sorry, David. I'm sorry.
It's fine. I think I dozed off a little bit. but I'm awake, and I'd like to know from Samantha if you've done any movies.
Oh
yeah, for
yes,
movies.
I've done
Any
quite a few.
any that we've heard of.
Let me think. There's been a few. I don't know if you've heard of them. They're all kind of like very specific. I did. Oh God, what have I done? I've done a ton of stuff. I just wrapped a movie called Game of Love. It's a rom-com, but that's not out yet for a while. I did a movie called The Female Brain that has Whitney Cummings and Sofia Vergara. There's things I think that you can find on like Prime. As far as like mainstream in the big theaters, I don't have any of those really. They're all like more like Netflix or Prime or like stuff like that. Well, what kind of movies do you like?
Well,
we
drama,
love
basically.
bad movies. Go ahead, David. Sorry.
I'm into dramas basically, and of course the stuff on the streaming services, because that's all there is right now till tomorrow.
Streaming services. Okay, let me think what we've got on Netflix right. Well,
I could actually. Can I suggest? Do you mind? I did print out your IMDb.
Oh, good. I was like, what is
it? The Most Dangerous Animal. I know that. Please go ahead.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's one of my recent ones. So Most Dangerous Animal is basically a docu-series about the Zodiac killer. And that's a really good one. So I did all the recreation costumes for that. So like, when they're talking, oh, June and Bill, they met back in the 50s or whatever. Like I did like those scenes of people and their back, like flashback type looks. That's a good one. The Innocent Man was another one that I did that's on Netflix. And it's a lot of like kind of true crime stuff. I did that a couple of times recently. Movies. There's a great holiday movie out there called A Christmas Wedding Tale. TAIL. It's about the dog, like dogs making their owners fall in love since it's the holidays.
Wait, hold on. Wait. I didn't see that one. It's called what?
A Christmas Wedding Tale.
A Christmas Wedding Tale, and you said the gods make their
the dogs.
Dogs.
Well,
yeah, it's a dog.
I'm also not an English teacher. I'm not an English teacher.
There's a movie out in the world right now called Final Kill that I did, which is an action adventure movie. Like I kind of run the gamut of stuff, but also like one of the things I'm actually really proud of that's out there now is on Roku. There's a TV series called Play by Play, and it's like a coming of age 1990s high school thing that kind of feels a lot like the Wonder Years. And that's great. That's just a really cute show. So you don't even have to have Roku. You can get it for free. I think there's like links online for it. But I love that show. I would recommend that of my work lately.
Thank you to Steve. He's thrown up some links and stuff into the chat so that folks can check out your work. So I guess that actually leads me into my closing question. What are you doing now? What's up for you, Samantha? Like you said, you've wrapped up on a couple things. What have you been up to, especially during the quarantine, I guess?
The quarantine has actually been pretty good. So before quarantine happened, I was working on an 1860s Western called Apache Junction, and we shut down because of COVID. And then we recently just finished it. So we had like a week left of shooting and we finished that. I feel like Apache Junction will go to Netflix, and that's going to be a good movie. I think it's going to do really well there. I also did, over the quarantine, I actually shot with the same director because he lives up here in the Northwest and I was up here for quarantine. We shot a couple action movies, one called Pacifica, Surviving Pacifica, which is like a sci-fi thing, kind of future, apocalyptic type movie. And then we also did another movie called Big Timber, which is more kind of like action-y type stuff in the woods. It sounds terrible. But then let's see what else. I just wrapped a romantic comedy called Game of Love with Brenda Song. And I had a commercial for like a company that does like safety equipment. I mean, I'm all over the board. And then you can also see a music video that I did recently, The Killers music video, Caution. I did that one too. So I've been lucky that I've had going on.
So do you like the shorter form, like a music video or a commercial? Is that better for costuming? Does it make a difference if it's shorter form or longer form?
No, not really. I mean, for me, my personal, like, I love doing film the most. Like, those are my favorite projects. I mean, I like them all. It's, I'm the kind of person that likes variety. So for me, doing a film where I have like characters just for a short amount of time, I like that, as opposed to, like, I mean, I don't mind series, like there's good pay in like TV series, but like when you're stuck with the same characters for a long time, it kind of gets a little monotonous. I prefer to have like different characters all the time, because I just think it's like more, it fuels my creativity more.
And it's like you have an end versus like a TV series that might go on further.
Yeah.
You have a middle, beginning, or that's how it works. I'm not a timeologist either, so I don't know. That's how I didn't take
Making
creative
stuff
writing.
up now.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much, Samantha. I don't want to take up any more of your Christmas holiday there with your family. Glad you got there safe and sound. Please give them our best wishes for Ian Potter. Are we asking you questions? I don't know. Jay's messaging from me. We will, Samantha, I would again thank you. We will let you go so you can spend time with your family. The rest of us, broken down toys on the Misfits Island, is that what it's called? We'll just hang out here for a little while and apparently ask Ian Potter questions.
Awesome. Well,
I just want to say thank you for all of the costumes that you created for the show, Samantha. You did a fantastic job. That we admire your work so much. Well done.
Thank you. That means a lot coming from you guys, because I know how important this show is to you all. And I just wanted to make it so that it wasn't too far off the originals. Just give it a little freshen up. That's
exactly. A little bit of a tweak. And I don't know if you've probably seen pictures of people who have, made Kanga cosplays and Bonehead cosplays, and Jonah as well. So, I will repeat Steve's sentiments of you. Yes, very well done. Thank you for doing right by us, by the, for the fans, for the show, for the community. So wait, now people are, oh my gosh. So, okay, people are chatting. So thank you, Samantha. I will message you after the new year, and I need to, get in contact with you and hook you up with some people and vice versa. So maybe we can do something like this again.
Yeah, anytime. I'd love it. This has been fun.
Awesome. All right. Well, you have a Merry Christmas. Thank you so much, Samantha. Bye.
Right, bye, guys.
We always wave on the way out. Gotta wave. All
right, see you later. Have a happy holidays.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
I don't know. Okay. Ian Potter was here. I don't see him anymore.
He was. He didn't have his microphone on, so we couldn't have asked him anything anyway.
Okay.
He only had his camera. So.
Okay. Well, I didn't know he was going to be part of tonight. So I'm sorry that he was here, but not here. That's it. That is all we had for the rest of the evening here. It is Christmas Eve. I have yet to watch Pee-wee's Playhouse Christmas special. That is, I just finished Elf before we started this. Got to watch the Pee-wee. So I am going to
recommend the Holiday Movies That Made Us on Netflix. Does a very nice documentary about Elf.
I'm a weird person about documentaries. They sometimes they get me.
Stop before the about documentaries part.
Okay, well, probably, and I know. So yes.
For the rest of our audience, I suggest the documentary, The Holiday Movies That Made Us. They do a great conversation about Elf specifically, and if you are not a weird person, what are you doing in this chat?
He's right. Actually, I'm thinking about my next tattoo. I'm turning 40 in a week, and it's time for my next tattoo. I was actually thinking about getting Elf, a little outline of Will Ferrell standing there. and it says like, smile. I just like smiling. Smiling's my favorite. So that's on my idea board.
That's awesome.
That's on my mood board. I thought that was just a hippie thing that people did, but apparently costume designers use mood boards too. I'm all for it. So I think that's it. Thank you all for tuning in. Tomorrow, we have a present opening event later in the day. I actually have presents under my tree that came in, a couple of them that I don't even know what they are. So I wrapped them myself. So then I can then unwrap them and then find out what they are. For those of you who haven't gotten your presents yet, I'm sorry. And for those of you who weren't part of Secret Santa, just join in. Show me what else you got. Maybe your wife got you something really cool, or your dog got you a new trophy. I don't know. So on that note, we will end it for this evening. Merry Christmas, everybody. I hope Santa, his elves, his reindeer, everybody in between visit you this evening, and we will talk to you tomorrow.
God bless us, everyone.
And look, I'm going to stop all the record. Oh, yeah, we're going to stop. Is it